Hello Cap. My name is Linda. I am your first officer today.
Hello, Linda. How are you?
I am fine, thank you.
Guys, the wheels on board.
I believe this is your first time flying with me, so I will explain what I'm doing throughout the entire flight. Okay, today we are flying from Idaho Falls, Idaho, KIDA, to Jackson Hole, Wyoming, KJAC. This will be a challenging flight because we're flying at night in the rain in a mountainous area, and the KJAC airport has a short runway. It makes it challenging to land. Okay, let's get the lighting the way I like it. We'll turn the panel lighting up to 100%. A little bit of background and a little bit of flood. Go down to the radio stack here. Turn the panel lighting up to 100%. And the floodlight to 50%. And let's check out the camera behind. See what's going on behind the cockpit doors. Everything looks good there. Let's go up to the overhead panel. Let's turn the panel lighting on 100%. And also the circuit breaker panel lighting on to 100%. And let's turn on the windshield wipers because it's raining outside. Okay, let's go over to the tablet. Let's go into the Abby tab and then go into the charts. So let's look at the KIDA, the KJAC flight plan. And we can see we take off from Idaho Falls Regional, go to the Rigby waypoint, and get up here to Sabat, where we intersect the 090 radial, DBS VOR, and over to Relay, FATMO, and then Jackson Hole runway 19. Okay, let's go look at the KIDA airport diagram. And we'll be taking taxiway A up to A1 to get on runway 21, which has a true heading of 206 degrees. And the ATIS for this airport is 135.325. Alright, let's go look at the KJAC ILS runway 19 approach chart. And you can see that they have a ILS frequency of 109.1. Station name is IJAC. The approach course is 187. And the touchdown zone elevation is 6451. And the decision height for this approach for an ILS is 612 feet. Okay, let's go look at the KJAC airport diagram. And we can see that this runway is only 6,300 feet long. It's approximately half what the typical runway is at Chicago O'Hare. Okay, let's go over to the radio panel. Let's tune in the ATIS, 135.325.
Idaho Falls RGNL information Papa. 100 Zulu weather. Wind calm, RVR 2900, rain. Sky conditions 2300 overcast, temperature 5, dew point 4. Altimeter 2952. Arriving runways 17, 21, departing runways 17, 21. Advise on initial contact you have Papa.
Okay, let's tune in the tower.
72, runway 28, clear for takeoff. KJAC 2 miles per hour, 3 up. Clear for takeoff, runway.
And let's set our barrel to 29.52. And let's go over here to the standby indicator. Set that to 29.52. Okay, let's turn on the pilot's flight director and the co-pilot's flight director. Okay, let's tune in ground. And let's file our flight plan. Okay, we're flying from KIDA to KJAC at 14,000 feet. Waypoints are Rigby, Sabat, Relay, Trips, and Fatmo. Okay, let's insert our flight plan. Let's request IFR clearance. Idaho Falls ground, good evening. Zibo 7278 request IFR clearance to Jackson Hole as filed.
Zibo 7378, cleared to Jackson Hole via runway 21 departure. Initial altitude 9,000 feet. Squawk 200 tree.
Cleared to Jackson Hole via runway 21 departure. Initial altitude 9,000 feet. Squawk 2003, Zibo 7378. Okay, let's set our transponder to 2003.
Zibo 7378, read back correct. Contact me again for startup. Set the transponder code 200 tree as instructed.
Okay, altitude, clearance altitude is 9,000 feet. Our runway heading was 206. That's heading mode. And set our course to 019. Okay, let's switch over to VOR. Okay, let's go down to CDU. Let's go into the FMC page and position a net. We are located at KIDA as our reference airport. We go to the route menu. That is also our origin. Our destination is KJAC, and our flight number is Zibo 7378. Okay, let's go into the departure arrival page. And let's select our departure out of KIDA. It's going to be runway 21.
Clearance up to 1307 LaGuardia, Romeo.
Let's go into route. Let's go to the next page.
Yeah, we tried the CBDLC.
Let's enter RIGBY as our first waypoint. Okay, the next waypoint is Sabat, S-A-B-A-T.
Okay, 1958 Edith. And Southwest 1307 clear to LaGuardia, UJAC 1.
Followed by Relay, R-E-L-A-E.
And 1777 on the squawk. Okay, sorry, Jack 2, Southwest.
Followed by Trips. followed finally by FATMO, our initial approach fix.
Clear, so 1661.
Okay, let's go back to the departure arrival menu. Do a KJAC arrival. It's going to be ILSY19.
Okay, thank you.
And we'll select route, select activate, and let's press the execute key. Okay, let's go back to the tablet. Go into home, fuel weight and balance, payload. Payload for this flight is 2,300 pounds.
Yes, sir. We're reporting our passengers. We got a message from dispatch of revised time of 22:41. Do you show that? I do. Okay. Any reroutes for us? No.
Okay, let's go to page 1. So this plane is going to take off with 20,000 pounds of fuel.
Calling for a push here in about 15 minutes or so.
Okay, that gives us a CG value of 22.4%.
Air Shuttle 1627 Westwood, clear to the Washington Dulles Airport via the JAC 2 departure, covering transition and a file, final 10,000, specify 330 and 10, squawk 3506.
Alright, let's bring up the approach plate for KJAC, ILS runway 19 for future reference.
Air Shuttle 1627 read back rest around number.
Go back to the CDU, go into the performance and net page, autofill our zero fuel weight, and our reserves are 2,000 pounds, and our cost index is 50. Okay, our cruise winds are 284 degrees at 021 knots.
Southwest 186 affirmative. I have a forward clearance going to Tampa, advising ready to copy. Southwest 186 clear to the Tampa Airport via the Smoke 2 departure. Wallet transition, direct Oxford
Okay.
Kilo, direct
ISA deviation.
Alpha Yankee and the day 4 arrival. Climb maintain 10,000, stretch flight level 340 E10 and squawk 3117.
Alright, we're going out of the small
Okay, let's go into the N1 limit page. And let's autofill our outside air temperature, 6 degrees Celsius. Let's go into the takeoff menu.
And I just want to verify that the day
Page 1 of 2,
4
our flaps for this flight is 5, which is standard.
Thank you.
Our CG value, if you remember, was 22.4%. Gives us a stab trim of 4.5 degrees.
29, Chicago with Alpha. But there's 29 good for air file, maintain 3,000 with launch, expect flight of 3001 with traffic.
Go to the next page. Okay, our runway wind is basically non-existent. 250 degrees at 01 knots. Okay, I'm gonna go into the next page. Select our runway is wet. And our runway heading is /162. No, it's not. That's 206.
On the departure, maintain 30,000. Expect flight level 310, 7 better. Budget frequency 119.2. Clock 7354.
40 off mile. Departure between 3,000, 310, minutes up departure.
previous page. And let's determine our V1 is 114, our V rotate is 123, and our V2 is 133. Okay, let's go to the overhead panel. Make sure our flight altitude is set to 14,000, and it is. And our landing altitude is 6450, it is. Runway turnoff lights on.
Runway turnoff lights on.
Taxi lights on.
Taxi lights on.
Wing lights on.
Wing lights on.
Beacon light on.
Already on.
Okay, the cabin is secured. Have a good flight.
Okay, let's set flaps to 5 degrees. There's 1 degree. There's 2 degrees.
Flaps 5 set.
Let's go down the radio stack. First VOR for nav 1 is 113.85. And then second VOR is 116.90. Okay, let's go over here to nav 2. So for nav 2, first frequency is 116.9. And then the second VOR frequency is JAC, which is 115.4. Okay, our ILS is set up on both of these. The radios are all set for the first segment of our flight. Okay, let's set the IS Mach knob to 133. And let's arm the auto throttle. Before taxi procedure.
Before taxi procedure. Sir, we have the conditions for icing.
Bearing Southwest 1754 with Bravo up to Columbus.
Before taxi procedure complete. I am ready for before taxi checklist.
Before taxi checklist.
Before taxi checklist. Generators. On. Probe heat. On. Anti-ice. Wing anti-ice off. Engine anti-ice off. Isolation valve. Auto. Engine start switches. Continuous. Recall.
Checked.
Checked. Auto brake. Rejected takeoff. Engine start levers.
Idle detent.
Idle detent. Flight control.
Okay, let's bring up the flight control page here. There's elevator. Aileron. Rudder. Checked.
Checked. Flaps.
Flaps 5.
Flaps 5 set. Green light. Detent. Ground equipment.
Clear Southwest 8630, like to copy. International.
Clear.
I'm sorry, it's 428 is the wrong one.
Clear. Before taxi checklist complete. Ready for taxi.
Okay, let's go down and look at our throttles here. Set stabilizer for takeoff.
Trim down.
All right, let's request taxi. Idaho Falls ground, good evening. Zibo 7378 with information. Papa is ready for taxi.
Zibo 7378, taxi to runway 21. Contact tower on 128.350 when on holding point.
Taxi to runway 21. Contact tower on 128.350 when on holding point. Zibo 7378. Okay, we'll taxi straight ahead here. Take the last left on the taxiway A1.
Cabin crew, take your seats, prepare for takeoff. Okay, this is taxiway A1. Zibo 7378, contact tower on 128.350. Have a nice flight.
Contact tower on 128.350, Zibo 7378. Landing lights on. Beacon light on.
Already on.
Okay, I'm going to turn on the terrain radar and Let's set that to the 40-mile range. And why don't you turn on the weather radar and leave that on a 10-mile range. Before takeoff procedure.
Before takeoff procedure. Before takeoff procedure complete. Ready for before takeoff checklist.
Before takeoff checklist.
Before takeoff checklist. Flaps.
Flaps 5.
Flaps 5 set. Green light. Detent. Stabilizer trim. 4-5 units set. Transponder. TARA set. Before takeoff checklist complete.
Okay, let's contact the tower and request takeoff. Idaho Falls Tower, good evening. Zibo 7378 on holding point of runway 21, ready for departure.
Zibo 7378, wind is calm, runway 21, cleared for takeoff.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 21, Zibo 7378. Okay, let's taxi on to runway 21.
Approaching 21.
Runway U confirm.
On runway
I am
21.
ready for takeoff.
Alright, let's set the cockpit timer. Verify we have symmetrical thrust.
Stabilized.
Okay, toga.
Takeoff thrust set. Throttle hold. V1. Rotate. Positive rate.
Gear up.
Gear up.
Zibo 7378, altimeter 29.52. Contact Salt Lake City Center on 135.775.
Acceleration altitude.
Altimeter 29.52. Contact Salt Lake City Center on 135.775. Goodbye, Zibo 7378. Okay, let's contact center. And let's make our initial call. Salt Lake City Center, good evening. Zibo 7378 at 6,900 feet.
Zibo 7378, turn right heading 021, climb to 9,000 feet.
Turn right heading 021, climb to 9,000 feet, Zibo 7378.
Zibo 7378, turn right heading 021,
1,000 to go.
climb to 14,000 feet.
1,000 to level off.
Turn right heading 021, climb to 14,000 feet, Zibo 7278.
Thousand to go.
Zibo 7378, expect runway 19er.
Expect runway 19er, Zibo 7278.
Flight level 100. Landing lights switches off.
Okay, 200 knots. Flaps 2.
Flaps 2 set.
Flaps 1.
Flaps 1 set.
And flaps up. Alright. Turn to intercept the 020 radial, the 019 radial. And select VOR mode.
Flaps up set.
After takeoff checklist.
After takeoff checklist. Engine bleeds. 1,000 to
go.
level off. On. Packs. Auto. Landing gear. Up and off. Flaps. Up. No light. Detent. After takeoff checklist down to the line complete.
Okay, let's turn off the windshield wipers. And let's go set our minimums to 612 feet. And go down to CDU, let's set our landing data. We're going to do flaps 40 at 125 knots. Okay, looks like we're intercepting the 019 radial.
Zibo 7378, turn left heading 016.
Turn left heading 016, Zibo 7378. Switch over to heading mode. Go to the radio stack. It's tune nav 1 to 116.9. Tune nav 2 to 115.4. And let's change our course to 090. And let's wait until the CDI is fully centered. Turn right to heading of 090. track the 090 radial from the DBS VOR.
Zibo 7378, maintain 14,000 feet.
Maintain 14,000 feet. Zibo 7378. Okay, let's slow down to 170. Preparation for our descent. Flaps 2. And flaps 5.
Flaps 5 set.
Okay, let's complete our approach briefing.
Transition level. Ready for approach checklist.
Okay, our ILS frequency is 109.1. Our station name is IJAC. Touchdown zone elevation is 6451, and the precision height is 612. Descent checklist.
Descent checklist. Pressurization.
Landing altitude.
Landing altitude 6,450 set. Recall.
Checked.
Auto brake.
Auto brakes max.
Set. Landing data.
Flaps 40, 125 knots.
V reference 125. Minimum 612 set. Approach briefing.
Complete.
Complete. Descent checklist complete.
Zibo 7378, descend to 12,000 feet.
Descend to 12,000 feet. Zibo 7378.
Approaching transition. 1,000 to level off.
1,000 to go.
Zibo 7378, descend to 11,000 feet.
Descend to 11,000 feet. Zibo 7378.
Thousand to go.
Okay, let's turn right 148.
Zibo 7378, maintain 11,000 feet.
Maintain 11,000 feet. Zibo 7378. Okay, let's tune in the ILS. 109.1. Set our course to 187. And switch over to approach mode. Okay, that's arm approach.
Zibo 7378, descend to 9,400 feet.
Descend to 9,400 feet. Zibo 7378.
Localizer capture. Glide slope capture.
Zibo 7378, turn right heading 178.
Turn right heading 178. Zibo 7378. Okay, let's slow down to 165. Put our flaps at 15.
1,000 to level off.
Arm the speed brakes. Gear down.
Flaps 15 set. Gear down.
Okay. Approach.
Zibo 7378,
192.
cleared for ILS approach runway 19er. Contact tower on 118.075 when established. Bye.
Flight
Cleared
level
for ILS
100.
approach. Runway
Landing light
19.
switches on.
Contact tower when established on 118.075. Zibo 7378. Okay, let's slow down to 150. And go flaps 30. And let's slow down to VREF plus 5, which would be 130.
Flaps 30 set. Ready for landing checklist.
Flaps 40.
Flaps 40 set.
Landing checklist.
Landing checklist. Engine start switches
Continuous.
are not set in continuous position. I just set. Continuous. Speed brake.
Arm.
Armed. Landing gear.
Down.
Down. Flaps.
Flaps 40.
Set for landing. Landing checklist complete.
Okay, let's contact it. Bring down the HUD. Zoom forward in our seat. Turn on the flight path vector. Let's contact the tower.
Cabin
Alright.
crew, take your seats, prepare for landing.
Jackson Hole Tower, Zibo 7378 approaching runway 19.
Zibo 7378, identified. Continue your approach. Takeoff was great. We will see your landing.
Okay, runway in sight.
Zibo 7378, wind is calm. Runway 19er, cleared to land.
Clear to
Taxi
land.
lights on.
Runway 19er,
Taxi
Zibo
lights on.
738.
Approaching decision height.
Approaching 19.
Minimum.
Five hundred. Cleared to land runway 0L.
400. 300. 200. 100. 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Deep landing, 4,000 feet remaining.
Breakout. Reverse unlocked. Zibo 7378, contact ground on 124.550. 60 knots. Yeah. Great landing. You are professional.
Contact ground on 124.550, Zibo 7378. Jackson Hole ground, Zibo 7378 on runway 19.
Zibo 7378, taxi to parking 1.
Taxi to parking 1, Zibo 7378. Landing lights off. Okay, turn the weather radar off.
Flaps upset.
5. It's 4. 3. 1. And there's my guy. All right, let's check out our landing performance. Oh, we bounced. Yeah. 267 feet per minute. 126 knots. Flare started at 29 feet. Flare lasted 5 seconds. Throttle down at 12 feet. It's awful late. We only spent 1 second on the rear gear, and that was, yeah, not so good. That concludes this video.